Hey there, welcome to Stoic Answers. So, I want to talk about productivity today. I just saw this video from Brian Holiday about productivity and about getting things done. And yeah, man. So, it's going to be more of I would say, so he has a couple of points, right? And I want to review the points and then I want to talk about another book I read, which is called The Society of Tiredness. So it is good. So Brian Holiday is this author that has published several books on Stoicism and other stuff, and is a great guy. I like him a lot. He wrote The Obstacle is the Way and The Ego is the Enemy. So great books to read. So go ahead and check him out. So he talks about productivity and he uses Stoicism to be more productive, right? And I think it's a little bit of a prostitution of the philosophy. And it's well, let me get into it to tell you why I think that. But first, let's go through the points, right? So the first point he makes is ask people more successful than you how they do it. Third point, I mean, people that are doing things better than you know some things that you don't know. So you should definitely go and ask other people to know about things that you don't know, and you're gonna be great at it. I guess you're gonna be more productive. And then the second point, and I think that it is the most important point that he made, is to ask yourself what is essential. And the way he portrays it in his video is to ask yourself what is essential with the work that you are doing. And I guess yeah, that's gonna be great. If you're working in anything, you're gonna get a lot of emails, and you're gonna get this, and then you're gonna get that, and there's so much stuff that's gonna occupy your time, and that is not essential. But if you are working and then you ask yourself, okay, what is essential in this regard, you're gonna find that it is not that much, and that if you work just in that, then you're gonna start to go through the things that you need to get done, and then you're gonna be more productive. But is this what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said that you have to ask yourself what is essential? I think yes and no, because what is essential is a really deep question. And I mean, what is essential, right? Or is anything that you are doing essential? You know, and that leaves you wondering what is essential. Should you be doing what you're doing with your life? I don't know. What is essential? You know, and I guess that's really the question. When you ask yourself what is essential, you have to start contemplating and reflecting about what are the things that are really essential in your life. So much stuff is not essential, right? But yeah, third point to make. The next one is establish clear systems. And here is this is interesting because establishing clear systems makes you start to think about yourself as if you were a machine. And there's this great book called The Shallows, and the book, the author talks about how technology affects us and how we affect technology. So, are we using technology, or is technology using us? So, think about that. Like, let's use the technology of the calendar, for example, which is something that changed everything. So before, people didn't really thought about days as Monday, Wednesday, I don't know, Tuesday. Uh, they just saw life as life was, right? So if you have cows, or if you have wheat or potatoes, there are, I mean, there are rest days, obviously, but they are not defined by the calendar, by Saturday or Sunday. They are defined by the cow needs to eat, or it needs to drink water. So if it is a Sunday, you have to get up, and then you have to keep the cow water, because if the cow doesn't drink water, it is gonna die, you know. And so nature defined work and what needed to be done. And so time was different before. But then we had the calendar. And now that we have the calendar, we have this compartments of time. And we think in when we think, we don't think in regard to the tasks that need to be done, but we think more with the compartments of time that we have, and that we have to either feel or not feel, and then we feel guilty if we don't feel them, or if we fill them with the incorrect stuff. But can you see? I am thinking in terms of a calendar and of these compartments of time. So is technology using you, or are you using technology? It's a great question to ask, isn't it? And so when you think in that regard with systems, it's like, okay, so I'm gonna be a system myself. So I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be productive. So you're thinking of yourself like a machine, right? That you have to put output. So is that what you are? Is that what we are? Are we machines and that's it? And how productive you are? Is that what life is about? You know? So, sure, I mean, obviously, if you want to be productive, you have to set up systems. For example, myself, I wake up at 6 a.m. and then I meditate, then I do some coffee, and then I know that with the coffee, I need to do something because I'm gonna be, all anxious about the caffeine. So I'm gonna make a video, or I'm gonna get to work because I like it. I like to be productive in this regard, because life is also about being productive and about not being productive about some stuff. But I wanted to put the idea of the machine in your mind so that we have a better context of what we are. Machines are humans. But right, if you want to be productive, then you have to have systems. You have to have habits, and then you're gonna use those habits to become better at what you want to produce. I don't know, such as this video. Okay, so that's a good one. And then don't be so reachable. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Don't be so reachable, I guess, at the first hours of the morning when you are able to, because I have a job, and if I'm not reachable, it's like, okay, you're fired. Because you have to be reachable. You have to get stuff done, right? And so that's it. And that's pretty much it. Those were the valid points that he makes. And I want to get to other points which I believe are important about the book I was telling you at the beginning of the video, called The Society of Tiredness. And it's an accurate name. It's an accurate name, especially once I talked about productivity and being productive all the time, right? Because it feels like we're in a frenzy. Like, we all want to do something. We look at Instagram, just go into Instagram, and people is always pushing stuff like, it's my life, this is what I'm doing. And if you're not productive, if you're not doing something with your life, if you're not showing that you are, I don't know, doing stuff, interesting stuff like that, you feel like you're behind. Like, we all have this kind of a push that we're always needing to be doing stuff, right? And man, sometimes, I don't know, 2 Saturdays ago, a couple of friends and myself, we woke up on the Saturday and we didn't do anything. We were tired, because you're always doing stuff. And doing stuff is not bad. I love doing stuff. I love running. I love doing tons of stuff. But it feels like there is no time to relax, I guess. Because if you relax, there's always going to be someone being better than you. So you should be doing something now, man. You should be doing something. You should feel ashamed of yourself that you're not doing anything right now. People are hustling, man. People are hustling, man. That's how it feels, and it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. It's obviously a joke, but if you go to YouTube to the regular advice that people are giving there, it's just like that, and it's Jesus, man, chill the fuck down. Uh, but okay, so he makes a couple of points here. Uh, the South Korean author, that we are the society of productivity, productivityness, and we are always under the obligation of being productive. But this is weird because right now we're in a society where there where the violence, like the push to be productive, doesn't come from outside. It does, but more so it comes from the inside, because you are the owner of your destiny. Like, you are under control of yourself. So you are always asking yourself for more and more and more and more, and it's positive in a way, right? Because I mean, if you are productive, like, you are giving society something, and that's good, because you're helping, and you're doing your part, right? But it's also counterintuitive, because if you are always asking and demanding things from yourself, you are not being balanced, because you are always active and you don't know how to say no. So we think that we should always be doing stuff, and we should always be active, and we should always be moving forward. But that seeming positivity is negative as well. So I think Aristotle said that the highest human quality is contemplation. And he said that thinking is not the highest quality. Isn't that interesting? And so when you're multitasking, and when you're doing this when you are living this frenzied life that we are living, you are being more like an animal, in the sense that you are always doing this while you're doing this, and your brain is always active in an activity, in a task or something. But you don't know how to say no to anything. And in order for you to be able to contemplate life and to think deeply about life, you need to know how to say no, and how to be bored. And isn't that so freaking hard? Because we are never bored. And when we feel that we are bored, we reach our phones, or we reach for Netflix or anything, but we are always like this, always engaged in something. And you cannot stand back and think about life in another way, you know? Because if you're always engaged, you're always telling yourself how you should live life and how you should go about stuff. But if you don't know how to say no, you don't have this space to allow yourself to think differently about stuff. I guess that's why we like so much psychedelics, because psychedelics give you this space to go outside of everything that we're doing all the time, to go outside of your phone and what you think about I don't know, about Ukraine, about, you know, always on something, and always telling you how you should think about things. So whenever you go to nature, or whenever you do psychedelics, you have this space to think and to say no, in a way, to the highways that already exist on your neurons, you know. Something like it. So we are overstimulated, and we don't know how to say no. And saying no is necessary, because imagine if, for example, with our senses, imagine if you could capture everything there is. So right now you can only capture, like, your vision and what you touch, and even in your mind you only say yes to the things that are important for you and your survival. Can you imagine how life would be if everything where our ability to say no to experience is positive as well, because it gives us a a frame to live with. The things that are important to you, it's like this, everything outside, but then you have this road you can use because you're saying no to all this stuff that doesn't matter, right? But in our current society, we want to say yes to everything, to everything, to everything. So, it's too much and we're tired. And what he argues is that it is not this good type of tiredness in which you feel tired and then you're ready to go to sleep. You're not. You're tired in an eternal tired way, When you go to sleep, you cannot really sleep because you are so stressed that about all the things that you should be doing and that you should say yes to, because we are the yes society, that you're stressed and you cannot really sleep. And it is this tiredness that is a never-ending tiredness and leaves you so tired that even the things that you do enjoy in life, such as spending times with others, or I don't know, you don't really want to do them. So this endless tiredness, because of our endless focus on productivity and say yes and functioning like computers, is leaving you so tired that we are separated from one another. We just want to sleep, man, but we can never sleep, because we feel guilty that we should always be doing something. What an inhumane way to live. I guess that's why some people go to live to the forest, to have the ability to contemplate and just to be so separated that you are forced to contemplate and to live life in a different way, and to live I don't know, can you imagine not living with a calendar and with these segments of time, but with the sun and with the moon, and in that manner, how different life would be. So that's the idea, right? But what we are like, I live in Mexico City, and there's always something to do here, always, all the time, and then you feel guilty that you're not going out. So what is my argument here? My argument here is that Ryan Holiday, he feels like Stoicism tells you to always be so preoccupied, to be productive and to live your life, because man, you're gonna die someday, so you should live your life right now and be productive, and if you're tired, you should just keep going because you're gonna die. But that's just plain stupid, because you are not really living your life. You're just preoccupied about the future, that you're not really living your life. So what is my argument? It's hard, man. I don't know myself. I'm working through it, but certainly it is not to be productive all the time like a machine, because you're not a computer. You shouldn't try to be one. You should be aware that you're a human, and that you are better off working with how a human was made to be, than with trying to simulate that you're a machine. So of course you have to be productive, but then you have to ask yourself the questions in a more intelligent way, which is, for example, what is essential? Okay, if you're gonna die, what would you rather be doing with your life? What are the things that really matter to you there? And ask yourself, like, when you go about your day, you can make a list and ask yourself, okay, so was that activity something that gave me meaning? Do I feel better because I do it? And if you say yes, then you should do more of that in your life. If you don't have time to do it, then like myself right now doing this video, then you have to wake up well, yeah, you have to do it, man. If you don't have time in your life because you're working and you're doing stuff and whatever, then you have to wake up early to do the things that you feel meaningful, I guess. And it's not mandatory. If you like just working on your job and then going to your family, enjoy your family. But is this like this demand to be everything that you should be, that I think is wrong, because you don't have time to think and to contemplate. So it's weird because it's a negative, the via negativa to don't do so much stuff, to choose better, to stand back and really think about life. Yeah, it's mindset. And I guess what I want to say is that be productive about the things that you find meaningful, but at the same time find space to think, find space to step a little bit outside of everything and be there for a while. Work in progress. I hope it helps. Let me know what you think. It would be really interesting to get to know about that. And the Stoics, they have answers. They have answers, and they. I'm gonna get back to you with more just about this beauty. It's letters from a Stoic, from Seneca, and I will get back to you with this, because this is a topic that interests me a lot, because I believe it's we need more time to think, but let's see where it goes. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.